PS5 Pro, what can we expect from the next generation PlayStation 5? There's a good chance we'll see a PlayStation 5 Pro in the future, but what can we expect from a more powerful PS5? With the PS4 Pro, released in 2016, Sony continued the pattern of offering mid-gen console upgrades during the PlayStation 4 generation, which offered a more technologically sophisticated system capable of 4K images and faster frame rates. The PS4 Pro was so popular that Microsoft, following a year later with its own mid-gen console refresh, the Xbox One X, which, like the PS4 Pro, outperformed the original Xbox One in almost every way. Nintendo has a history of introducing updated hardware during a console generation, however it usually refines an existing design rather than creating something new. The Nintendo DS Lite, new Nintendo 3DS, and Nintendo Switch OLED are all examples of Nintendo improving their original hardware without significantly altering the technical specifications. Even though the PS5 is only a year and a half old, Sony is already planning to produce a more sophisticated model in the next years. It's unclear what a PS5 Pro could improve on right now, and we haven't seen any 8K resolution support on PlayStation 5, and we'll have to wait for a PS5 Slim if we want a device that's considerably smaller. Still, it's always interesting to speculate and compile all of the rumors, so let's take a closer look at the likelihood of a PS5 Pro and make some predictions along the way. Based on what Sony did with the PS4 Pro, we can make an educated guess as to when the PS5 Pro will be released and at what price. The PS4 Pro was released in 2016, 3 years after the original PS4 was released. Because the PS5 was released in November 2020, a PS5 Pro could be released as early as 2023. However, the COVID-19 epidemic and persistent component shortages may delay the release of the PS5 Pro until 2024 or later. The PS4 Pro was released at the same price as the original PlayStation 4, which was $399 and £349. Sony's Ps5 costs $499 and £449, so if it follows the same strategy as the PS4 Pro, the PS5 Pro should be available for the same price. The PS5 is currently a massive machine, so unless Sony makes significant changes, the PS5 Pro could match or perhaps surpass the size of an ordinary PlayStation 5. A similar problem occurred with the PS4 Pro, which was significantly larger than the original PlayStation 4. For those who really want a smaller system, a PS5 Slim will most certainly be released around the same time. We expect Sony's design will build on the existing futuristic style of the console, similar to the PlayStation 4 Pro, but to incorporate some additional touches that aren't present on the current system. Things get a lot more difficult to forecast at this point. The PS5 is already a powerful platform, capable of 4K gameplay at 120 frames per second in some titles, ray tracing, and overall stunning images. A PS5 Pro would undoubtedly aid developers in achieving even higher resolutions and frame rates, but it's unlikely to be as significant as the jump from 1080p to 4K. With the PS5 still unable to output any games at 8K, despite the feature being stated on the console's retail box, the PS5 Pro may be the first platform to support the next generation resolution standard. Although 8K isn't widely available right now, it will most certainly become more reasonable and accessible to non-enthusiast consumers in 3 years. Let's not forget that Sony also makes TVs, and the PS5 Pro might be used to boost sales of its 8K sets, similar to how the PS3 helped Blu-ray win the disc format war. The PS5 Pro could have an AMD Zen 4 CPU and RDNA 3 GPU, but given that both Microsoft and Sony chose slightly beefed-up versions of the Xbox One and PS4 CPUs in their updated models, we'd anticipate the PS5 Pro to put more emphasis on the GPU than the CPU. But what else could the PS5 Pro bring to the table? We'd also anticipate the Ps5 Pro to have a bigger SSD than the original PS5, given 825GB wasn't exactly a lot to begin with. A 1TB version would undoubtedly offer value, and the flexibility to install your own NVMe SSD is likely to stay. What about a PlayStation 5 Pro Digital Edition? Will there be a version without a disk drive as well? Perhaps not. The PS5 Digital Edition is a cheaper alternative to the PS5 for those who are willing to do without, but creating two versions of the PS5 Pro, which will admittedly not appeal to everyone, would be a bit of a waste of money.
Thanks for watching.